All right. Hey, my friends, it is Tuesday. It's noon, and I'm your host, Randy Chafee with Building Wins Live. Every Tuesday at noon, we're going to do some great chatting with some great guests. Today is no exception. You're going to love chatting with my friend, Zachery Buege, or Zachery, whatever we want to call him. We'll call him different things during the show. Zach's a many-year sales guy in two different types of the sales world. And so we're going to talk about the sales genre in general and how they cross over and the similarities, the differences, and anything else that pops in our head. So don't go away. We'll be right back with Building Wins Live and my friend, Zachery Buege. There we are. Zachery, my friend, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Randy?
That's good. I know I've called you Zachery before, and I know it's not. It's Zachery, but I like Zachery for some reason.
It's all good. I've been called worse. So
I know. I've with you a few times when you were called worse, but anyway.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Exactly.
In our days of the past. So as a little more introduction, and then I'm going to ask you to maybe tell us who Zach is. So Zachery Buege, and I go way back, and you remember how many years, but we both represented products. I as a rep and Zach as a company guy for one of our manufacturers, Marco Industries. And you recall that our president, Neil Westgarth, was on, I don't know, a month and a half ago, maybe something like that. So Zach and I have spent a lot of time together at shows, sales meetings, out in town, and so Zach has an experience level from the manufacturer or business to business world, right? Manufacturer to business. And now you've got into the world of real estate over the last few years, which is a little more B2C, right? But before we kind of wander off into those directions, tell us about who Zachery Buege is. Anything we ought to know about you?
Yeah. So grew up in and around the greater Milwaukee area. Went to school at the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay, and was lucky enough to kind of get into sales upon graduating. It's kind of weird. I never thought I'd see myself in sales, before actually kind of getting into a sales role. As bad as it sounds, you kind of think, the sleazy used car salesman, and I was kind of unsure if that was something I wanted to get into or not. But was lucky enough, had a good family friend who as well, kind of approached me. There was a position that was becoming available at Marco Industries. So met with him, kind of told me a little bit about the role. And he said, I know you're graduating. The position's, yours if you want to come down and interview it for the summer, and kind of threw him off by surprise and told him, hey, I wasn't graduating yet. I got one more semester of partying to get out of my system before I do that. So was lucky enough that I was still able to go down there and interview and have the position held for me. And then was with Marco and sales role for about, I think it was right around 7 years, kind of doing the upper Midwest. Enjoyed every minute of it. Got a lot of chances to meet some great people, make a lot of good connections, some who I would still consider good friends with today. And then took a different position at Marco doing product development and marketing. And then when I left Marco, I went on to be a marketing manager for a company in the Milwaukee area that did a little bit more on the fluid applied side of roof coatings, as well as some polymer-based coatings for different industries. But unfortunately, their company decided to go in a different direction of the role that I was brought on to do, and kind of found myself wondering what to do next. And I always had an interest in real estate. I had my license for about 5 years, and I was like, well, if there was ever a time to get into it, now's the time. And went full force and do it full time now, and glad I did.
Awesome. Yeah, I forgot about that interim from leaving Marco to the real estate. I forgot about that. So, so I know somebody, we'll call him somebody. It's pretty important to you at home there. Little girl named Luna, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You can't forget Luna. Come on, you got to talk about Luna for a minute.
Oh yeah,
coolest dog ever.
Yeah, no, she's doing good. I feel like a bad puppy parent right now. She's locked upstairs, so there's no barking going on because usually the
Ah,
mailman comes right about this time, and I didn't want her
is that right?
causing a scene. So, but she's got her
Yeah.
bone up there, and she's hanging out, patiently waiting her walk when this is over.
Gotcha. So she's better after her little tie-in with the neighborhood bully.
Yeah, she is. She is. So she got her stitches removed, and she's fully healed and can go back to running around and playing with her buddies. So
Good. That's awesome. Very attractive dog. What is she? What kind of dog?
yeah,
Just
she's a smooth collie. So pretty much like
yeah.
the
Okay.
same thing as your typical Lassie, but instead of like the fluffy fur, a little bit shorter coat and a lot smoother.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, good. So let's go back. You didn't think you wanted to be in sales,
Mhm.
and you found yourself in sales. Um,
Yeah.
give me the 2 3 high points from Zach Biggy's ideas, I guess, or mindset from the past. What did you decide? Oh, there's an old buddy of ours right there, Aaron Carpenter. Look at Aaron. What did he say? There they are. What a panel today. Yeah, well, dug pretty low today, didn't we? Zach and Randy. Anyway, but what did you learn about sales that said, I think I want to keep doing sales? Because it is a great career and it's a great profession. And I think that's key word if you treat it as a profession, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
what did you learn during that time that you liked about sales, and why did that decide even when you left Marco that you wanted to be in the world of sales?
Yeah, I think the thing that I learned to really like about sales is and kind of looking at it from a different perspective when I was kind of graduating college and looking for a job is if you're really doing sales well, I feel like you're not really selling. You're helping people. You're building relationships. And that's what I really like. I like to think I have a wide group of friends and a sociable person. So for me, that dynamic is awesome. I can meet new people on a daily basis. I can help them out, and the sense of pride that I get, knowing whether it was, working kind of in the industry or real estate now, knowing that I can kind of help someone make the best decision for them and have a process in that. I think you get a great sense of pride. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I've taken away from sales that kind of changed my perspective after I got a little bit more involved into it.
Right. Yeah. So really, you hit on something that I always enjoy talking about because I've just been a student of sales my whole life. I put on my LinkedIn profile the 4+ decades, which it is, but I thought that
Mhm.
looked as one less number, so it looked like less than 40+ years.
Mhm.
Um, so but being a student of the game,
Mhm.
um, I think you hit on a point that I talk about a lot with anybody who wants to talk about it is you really start quote selling when you end quote stop selling, right?
Right.
And you found that, I'm sure, in the world of B2B with manufacturers, but um, how does that transcend into the world of real estate? Because obviously you want to sell the house to your client, or you want to get your client into a house, but you're really not selling a house. You're selling a lifestyle. You're selling a future for these people, as opposed to just a product. Which I think, and I'll say this, and I'd love to hear what you say about this. That corresponds very nicely in your old world, because we're not selling a product really at the end of the day, right? We're selling, in the case of a manufacturer selling to a customer, we're selling income for that customer. We're selling product that solve a problem for that customer. And when you get past the fact that it's just a commission, it's just a dollars, and you get into really helping people, that's when you go from selling okay to really selling. And do you agree, disagree? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of like you said, I think a big thing, and especially for me on the real estate side, is not just selling a home. I mean, everyone needs a place to live, but really, working with clients and helping them figure out, does this home fit my lifestyle? Maybe it's a newly married couple that wants to have a couple kids down the road in a year or two. I mean, is a loft condo in the third ward of Milwaukee really the best option? And kind of help them discover that and learn a little bit about themselves in the process, and then to kind of do more than just, at least what I try and do with my clients is do more than just show them a home. Let's take them around the neighborhood. If there's any great, bars or restaurants or, activities to do nearby, and really kind of help them paint that picture of what it's going to be to live in that home long term. I think sometimes people go into it just looking, they need a spot to live, but really it's your future when you buy a house. And I think if you can do that and show you have people's best interest in mind, that goes a long way, as well as really creating a relationship, working, one-on-one with one. I always tell people, whether it's me that they're working with or someone else, and the same can be applied to, B2B or B2C, is you want to work with someone that you're comfortable with. You're going to be spending a lot of time together. There's going to need to be a lot of trust in one another, and you're going to be sharing some, confidential or pretty deep information, whether it's about your business or, in the real estate world, your personal finances, and your goals. So, you need to work with someone that's, communicative, that you can trust, and that's diligent, and that has, your best, outcome and wants you to be the winner at the end of the day in mind.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I especially with houses, this thought just popped in my head as you're talking, is that one thing different there is you really truly are selling, and you hit it. That's why you do so well, is you're selling not brick and trusses and a structure, because they can buy a structure anywhere. Mm-hmm. You're selling a lifestyle, right? That's what you're really selling, and by gaining the confidence of the of your clients and them feeling comfortable with you, and you getting to know them, obviously puts you in a position to help, as you said, help guide them to do they want, if they're a young couple and not gonna have kids ever, or 10 years from now, maybe enjoying that loft lifestyle downtown near everything is for them, right?
Right.
But maybe not for kids, right? So I think that's interesting, because you do that sort of same thing, bouncing back and forth, because I find this interesting. In the world of B2B, and in my case now, and in your case in the past, when you're selling some products and services, you've got to get the customer into the right product or service that suits them. Not what I want them to have, but what is it that suits them the best, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. That's so the transition was not that hard to go to real estate from the manufacturing realm, would you say, or was it more difficult than you thought?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it was too hard. I think, and it's kind of interesting. I was having a similar conversation with some buddies this weekend that are looking at career changes and are in sales too. But I think as long as you have people's best interest at heart, at the end of the day, I think sales is really good. If you go from one industry to the next, all that knowledge and that product can be taught. But I think if you have a good sales foundation and you know how to treat people right and really look after your customers, I think you can really be successful and grow your business anywhere you want to take that.
Right. And like you said, that really does transcend. John Marchand, a good buddy of ours, just popped in and said, "Hey, I tell you, I don't know if you saw him pop up on the screen. There he is."
Hey, John.
Pros at every level. Look at John. John's another fellow pro from our world of sales. Thanks, John, for joining today. So, do you see real estate as a pretty booming in Milwaukee right now, right? I mean, I think it is all over the country, right? I mean, is there a I guess the right term is a lack of inventory? Is that part of the issue you're dealing with?
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at inventory in the Milwaukee area, and as well across the country, there's definitely a lack. It's funny, I actually got the numbers this morning. I was taking a note just kind of for a meeting, but if you were to take this time last year, we're down about 15% from where we were the previous year. So, I mean, there's definitely a shortage of inventory in the Milwaukee area, which is, great if you're a seller. Homes are getting a lot higher sales price. Once again, we're probably up about right around 14 to 15% from last year. And if you're a buyer, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But the nice thing is, if you're working with a good agent, there's ways to structure your deals to make you a little bit more competitive. And interest rates are at an all-time low, so you might be paying a little bit higher for a property, but at the end of the day, you're probably still saving more with that lower interest rate, or coming in about breaking even as you would. So, good time to buy and a good time to sell.
There you go. There you go. So, do you, this curiosity, I guess, more than anything, but do you enjoy, and maybe it's equal, do you enjoy being the seller's agent or the buyer's agent more? Is one more fun, if you will, than the other, or doesn't it really matter?
I think they're both fun in their own unique ways. If I'm working with a buyer, that's fun because it's more of an adventure. I get to go see awesome homes, and kind of get a peek behind doors of some houses that you always go, oh, I wonder what it looks like, behind there. So that's always kind of neat to do. And then the fun part on the selling side is kind of having that creativity, from the marketing standpoint, and really, making that home shine and put it, excuse me, put that house in its best light, through the photos, videos, the staging, the marketing of the property, and really kind of showing buyers what that lifestyle is, living there and kind of exciting the market and getting people to go, wow, I need that house. This is awesome. So, they each have their own, I guess, positives, if you would.
Right. Enrico, you remember Enrico? He's up in the Montreal area. He just popped down in there. Yeah, what is he saying? Crazy lack of inventory up in Montreal area too. 15 plus offers on every home. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, it's there's been some homes that I've went up against 30, 40 offers on in Milwaukee.
Have you really?
But I see you're at least going up against a minimum of 5 right now in the market here. So it's quite competitive.
So what you're saying is it's a great time to sell a home, and they should call Zach Buege.
Absolutely.
There you go.
It's always a good time to sell a home with Zach Buege. No, I'm just kidding. Exactly. You should sell a home with Zach Buege every year, right? Absolutely.
So curiosity, because again, I love talking sales, and I love talking how different industries are different, right? Mm-hmm. So, in your old industry, my current industry, there's Zach's Facebook.com right there, Buege Homes. We're building, the biggest goal I have besides getting my customers into the right product and the right programs for them is to maintain that business for life, right? And that's the goal. Is that, how often do you get, when you get that first customer in the real estate world, how often do they how many opportunities in a lifetime do you have to get them as a repeat customer? Because they have to stay in the same area, obviously, or you don't. But
yeah, I guess that kind of varies depending on the situation. Whether if someone's family is expanding or if they need to relocate or move, maybe they just want a different change of scenery from their current home and that. So it kind of varies. I would say, if you keep those relationships open, and you kind of get on the make a relationship with one of those customers, from their first home they buy, you'll probably have, the opportunity to, help them buy and sell their house at least twice. If you did a good job through the process and you stay in touch, communicate, and that trust is still there. But, kind of, like I said, varies depending on everyone's situation.
Right. So I used to hear, and I don't know if that's the same or not, it'd be interesting, that people move on an average of once every 7 years. I used to hear that number years ago. Is that even average today? Yeah, less, more? And I know it's an average, but.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. I'd say like 5 to 7 years. I look at myself and, I've moved twice in about a 6-year period. So, I'd say definitely.
Yeah. So it does build the repeat business. You do want to build that relationship so that you're not looking, and obviously your repeat business might be 5 years down the road. Where
right.
In like what I do, it's next week again, maybe, right? Another order, but but still repeat business is there. The opportunities are there, and of course, again, your orders will be bigger than my typical order, right? Because when your order comes, it's several $100,000 or more. So
Right.
So there's a real value there to that same concept of building and maintaining that relationship. So do you, as a sales pro in the retail or in the real estate world, do you keep marketing to your customers after the fact? I mean, I'm sure right after the fact, there's that, hey, you know, are you happy? How's everything? But is that something what's that look like down the road, knowing that 5 years from now, 4 years from now, they might historically, right, be thinking about doing something? Do you just wait and hope they call you? Or do you have a program for, where I'm going with this, to tickle them every little bit?
Yeah. So, I do I do some marketing after I, help someone purchase or buy a home? Absolutely. I'll do, some emails and that, just with, kind of your typical realtor stuff, where the market is, maybe some articles that might be of interest or beneficial to them. But to me, I don't really want to call it marketing, but it's really just keeping that relationship going. I mean, I spend a lot of time with my clients, and I've been fortunate enough to say that I've become, good friends with all of them. And to me, it's really keeping that relationship going. I want that friendship to continue. And I mean, sure, it's great. Maybe that pays off down the road, from me when they go to sell or buy a new home or refer me to someone. But to me, it's really that connection with people and that relationship, and showing them that you still do care about them after the transaction. You're just not there for, hey, thanks for my commission check, see ya. I want to be friends with you. I enjoyed our time together. So that's kind of how I look at it. And I don't think marketing is the right word for that, but it's really growing those friendships and that trust. And I think if you can continue to do that and show that you genuinely care about people and have their best interest in mind, you'll just kind of see that somewhat organically grow as being a more likable person, and you'll be introduced to other people. And, that's kind of the way I go about it.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense because, in what I do, I'm all about building relationships and making friends. I've gone to their kids' church programs and weddings and, unfortunately funeral stuff and all those things, right?
Right.
So you really do build a friendship. And it's interesting to hear that transcends into your market, because I didn't realize that maybe it did as strongly as you're doing it. Because it's not a one-off sale. There's always that opportunity, but the distance between the two is much greater, right?
Right.
And so, but I think why you're good at what you do, why I think I'm pretty good at what I do, is because we always put the customer first. We build the relationship, and you maintain it, not because, I can honestly say, and I can tell that you said it a minute ago, I don't do, maybe as a young kid when I didn't know any better, I may have chased commission, but that's a dangerous place to go as a sales guy, to be chasing commission. And when I say chase commission, you know what I'm talking about. When it's your blinders are on, all you can see out of this customer is $1,000 commission check or whatever it is, doesn't matter. That's all you can see. You're going to do all the wrong stuff. Right. You're going to do nothing right at that point. You do all the wrong stuff. Well, you may think you're doing right, but all you're doing is destroying any relationship, and you may get one off that you may finally just wear them down and get that deal. Right. But you'll never get the future. And that seems like it's the same way what you see in your industry.
Yeah. And, kind of like you said, I think most people can see, if whether you're out to do that intentionally or not, and have those blinders on. But, people pay attention to their surroundings and that. And I think after a while, if you're constantly going after that and you don't have, people's best interests, it catches up to you. And it's not really a good look for you or your business. So always be genuine. And, if there's someone, say, you don't like working with and you don't feel genuine about it, don't work with them. Maybe you don't have their best interest at heart. People like to do business with their friends, whether you're, selling something, you have that freedom to choose as well too. So.
Good point. So you, the relationship thing is interesting because it almost doesn't have to. In your case, probably a little different in real estate, but I found but you're coming from going back to your starting point.
Mhm.
You don't really have to close people and have this big close at the end on people if you have the proper opening and middle part of the whole deal. If you just develop a relationship, take their interest at heart, make this the right deal for them,
Mhm.
it just happens, right? It automatically happens. Way more work than what I just made it sound like.
Oh, absolutely.
But do you agree with that theory or no?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There's been times where in my life, I think I need to sell myself or my services a little bit harder, but just through casual conversations, learning more about someone and actively listening and paying attention to what they want, before I walk away, it's, hey, we want to work with you today, and it's like, well, I always tell people, talk to a couple different realtors, work with who you're comfortable at the end, and it's, no, we want you. So I think when whether it's B2B or B2C, if you can come away from a situation like that and people are just genuinely excited, I think that really, shows you did your job right, and, do have others' best interests at heart, and kind of conveys through the way you carry yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, because you touched on an old theory a minute ago. I'm trying to remember who said this. I wish I remembered. I read too many books and listen to stuff, but anyway, all things being equal, friends, people want to buy from friends, right? People want to buy from people they trust and people that they just want to be involved with, right? And if you don't develop that relationship, you just got a bunch of one-offs is what you have. That's all
Right.
you have. And that may work in a certain retail environments, maybe, where they can go into 17 different stores in town and buy the exact same thing. So they may or may not ever come back, and you don't really care, I suppose. You probably should. But I even think at the retail part of it, sales is still sales, because what we talked about earlier is still H to H or P to P, human to human, people to people, right? So I even think as a retail person working at a shoe an athletic shoe store, there's no reason you can't develop a customer base of people that'll come back 2 or 3 times a year to buy their shoes and their walking shorts and their running stuff, and they bring their wife and they bring their brother. There's no reason you can't develop that same thing, right? If you put the time and energy that first time or two, as opposed to, yeah, I got size 8. Anything else? No, okay, good. That'll be, $129.95. Thanks, right? If that's all you give them, that's probably all you're going to get back, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's interesting, and that was one of the really interesting things I had to chat about today. It was the fact that regardless of what we do in sales, and I want to see. I have many goals for doing this show and a lot of different things that I do, but one is I love this game of sales. And I call it a game because I enjoy it, not a game because you're trying to beat somebody. You're trying to do. I call it a game because a game is fun. The game is enjoyable, and I work a lot of hours a week, as you do, and I never tired of it, right? Because it's what we love, and when you're finally doing what you really love, it's pretty easy stuff, even though it's hard at the same time. A lot of stuff to do, but you don't mind doing those. Is that what you see in your world now, in the real estate world? Probably the same thing. You got a lot of late night hours, right? And weekends.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's I always kind of laugh because people always go, "Wow, it must be great to be in real estate. You make your own hours." And I'm thinking, not if you're good at your job, you don't. But if you love what you do, I mean, it doesn't it doesn't bother you. Some of my favorite times looking back at my journey from when I started into real estate till now is those late nights and getting those late night deals closed and accepted, and you go to bed sleeping good, and you sleep easy. So yeah, if you love what you do, it's never really a day of work in your life.
It really is not. It's really not. And you got to love that idea at those late nights, even whether it's not with a customer, but you're looking through the MLS as listings. You're trying to find this perfect home for them because they become your friends, right? They're counting on you. You want to help, mom and dad and their two little kids get the home they want. And so it's got to be exciting when you go, that might be it right there. This might be the one. Yeah,
absolutely.
You probably almost want to call them right now at 1:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, absolutely.
Here it is. Let's go drive by it right now.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Exactly.
But no,
well, Zach,
it is very exciting.
I know we had talked that you would stay on for our Added Wins recorded session afterwards. We're getting about up against, try to keep about 30 minutes for the live. But before I cut you back to the green room for a minute or two, what have we not touched on here? Because we're going to touch on a couple things that I wrote down. Anything else in our recorded version here? But what have we missed that you just go, Randy? I wish you'd asked me this question. Wes likes what about questions, or he calls them something. He's way smarter than I am. But should have asked questions. I think I'm close, Wes. What's a should have asked question that I didn't ask Zach Buege today that you'd like to talk about?
You know, I think one that pops ahead, I know kind of when your show first started, that was kind of going to the new normal. So, you know, I think one thing would be be great to talk about a little more in detail. And the non-live show is, you know, I guess lessons learned from, you know, it was probably around this time last year that everything was shutting down. So
2020 to 2021 virtual.
Absolutely. That's one that comes to my mind.
That's really what I want to talk about next is that whole hybriding process and where we've been, you know, and that. So, because I'd be interested in knowing how that affected you and your market or industry, because I think we can all learn from each other. And I know, I think I've solved a lot of problems for myself. I feel like I have over the last year. Always learning new things every day, but I think it's great for everybody to hear some people from other perspectives and what they did and how they see. So that would really be the topic, I think. So, you know, when we come back, we'll kind of kick that around a little bit.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Well, Zach, thanks for being on, my friend. You know, it's 30 minutes is fast, I know, but there's some excellent stuff, and it's always great talking to a sales pro, you know, a fellow sales pro, and appreciate all you do, man, and your friendship over these last, how has it been? 11, 12 years we've known each other now?
Oh yeah, 11, 12 years. Crazy to think it's been that long. Yeah.
I know, and I just turned 27. I don't know how that happened.
Oh, geez,
anyway,
wow.
I was really young. I was a starter. Anyway, well, great. Well, Zach, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. We'll catch up to you in a couple of minutes, and we'll chat a little bit more.
Sounds good. See you then. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, folks. Zach Buege. Hope everybody got a little something out of that. I think it's a pretty interesting concept to me, the way sales works from industry to industry. And thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for stepping on. So we're going to chat a little bit more with that here, and that'll be released on Friday sometime. So, but let's talk about what's going on this week and next week. On Thursday this week, we've got a Building Wins Live special edition with Mason and Adam from Best Buy Metals. They're down in a roll form operation in Tennessee, South Carolina, and I might miss a state possibly. But these are some young guys, run a great operation down there, and we're going to really chat a lot about the back to the metal roofing industry specifically. And what I really love about these guys is they bring a lot of new technology, a lot of hybrid, which I'm kind of big on, and they really step their game up. And I think it's something that you're going to really enjoy. So that'll be at 2:00 on live on this Thursday Eastern, Facebook and YouTube. And then next week on Tuesday, the 23rd, on regular Building Wins Live, there he is, Ben Nystrom. Ben's a guy that I've known many years, 20 plus years. Ben's been a friend for a long time. We were fellow sales guys together. Then he was sales manager, and now actually he's president and CEO of the sales and marketing for MWI Components, which is a company that I'm still blessed to represent. So Ben and I are going to talk industry and have a good old boy chat for a while. So that'll be back at the regular Building Wins Live on Tuesday of next week. So don't want to miss that one either. So 2 big events coming up. So thanks again for watching. Please share it. Please spread it around. And remember, live it, love it, own it. You only get one time around, so get the best. Make this your best day ever. Until tomorrow. Thanks, y'all.